Hi, Matt with etrailer. Today we're going to be talking about the ARB Portable Air Compressor. Now this is going to be the single unit we have today. There is a twin unit. They're going to work very similar, but we'll focus on this. And this is going to be something that is a little bit more sturdy, perfect for if you plan on doing any type of overlanding or any type of off-roading. So let's check it out. What I like about this is just how sturdy it is. You can tell we have this pretty tough case, and that's perfect, especially when you are off-roading or overlanding, you're hitting all those bumps constantly, there's a lot of vibration, or you're just throwing tools or other items in the back of your vehicle. And if they were to make contact with this case is going to help protect it. On top of that, it's going to be designed to really go through those extreme weather conditions too, whether you're going through either extreme heat or extreme cold. And then the icing on the cake is going to be, they're just real fast to use. So it's been a long day, or it's been a long couple days being out overlanding or camping, whatever you've been planning to do, and you need to get back on the road, but you want to air up your tires pretty quick. This is going to be perfect to do that. It won't take you any time at all. So let's actually check out how fast they are to use. Something else to think about is if you're not someone who plans on doing a whole lot of off-roading or overlanding, and you're not going through any extreme conditions, then I'd actually probably go with something else, something more like the Bulldog winch tire compressors. The reason why I recommend those are they're just going to be a little bit more affordable. They won't have any tough casing like we have here, so they won't be able to withstand the beating like this can. So it just depends on what situation you're currently in. But we can open this up, take a closer look at the inside. And once I open this up, you notice we have this nice little spot for a hose. It's separate from the rest of everything. Right here we're going to have some other nozzles, and here we actually have our connectors so we can connect it to the battery. But first I'm going to turn on my vehicle. And the reason why I turned on my vehicle is just so I don't kill my battery, since we are going to be drawing a lot of power from that battery itself. So I'm just going to connect it real quick. Once we have these connections made, then we can come over to the compressor. So you want to make sure this is on a flat surface so it doesn't slide or make contact with anything else. And right now we have it in the off position. And the off position is basically just the ARB setting here at the top. So with it like that, we can make our connection with our hose. You're going to have a male and female end. Just take that male end and make that connection. You're just going to push it into place. You hear it, and then we'll turn it on. We'll just press down. You hear it go on for a few seconds, and then we'll be able to air up our tires. And when we're connecting up, we're just going to make sure we grab the right valve. So the one you're going to have is this more quick connection style. You notice how it has this black section you can just pull on. Now release. So in that way, that's going to go on. It's just a quick connection. You just hear it kind of engage a little bit, and you move that. See that little black section push up. So when you're doing this, we're going to try to get this up over by 20 psi. So right now it's currently sitting at 17. So we're going to try to get it to 37 and see how fast that takes. And to do that, you're just going to push it in place. Make sure it sounds good. If it does, I'll start my timer. Now it's been going on for a little bit over 50 seconds. So let's kind of check it out to see how much it aired up. So I'm using my gauge here. And we're looking at right about 27. So that went up about 10 psi in just about a minute, a little bit under that, which is pretty dang quick. Now, if you're not a big fan of removing your hose and checking with your own tire gauge, what you can do is use a tire inflator. Now, we have the ARB one, which is pretty nice. It just feels pretty easy to handle. If you are curious about that, we actually have one of these on our website. If you want to go that route, you do that. And now when we hook up, we can actually monitor how much airflow we're getting now. Look at that, we've already gone up by 1. So let's kind of keep on going until it reaches about 37. So we just finished airing up our tire, and it took for a total of 2 minutes just for one of them going up by 20 psi. So that's pretty dang quick. So if I was going to do this for the whole vehicle at the same rate, that'd probably take me around 8 minutes, give or take. And it's probably going to take you maybe 8 to 10 minutes, just depending on how much you're inflating your tires. So that's really no time at all, especially when you get back on the road pretty quickly. Now, Really what gives it those numbers are going to be some of the specs we have. So going into some of the specs, the CFM for the one we have today, the single motor one, is going to be at about a little bit over 3, which is pretty quick compared to some other single motor compressors. Comparatively, I've seen a lot at 1.5 to 2, maybe a little bit over 2, and with this sitting a little bit over 3, you can really tell the difference. Now, if you want something even faster, then I'd recommend the twin version of this, which will be around 6 CFM, which will be much faster. Now, when it comes to your PSI, this will be at 100 PSI, so this will work for most vehicles, especially ones that are off-roading. Now, if we're going to take a closer look at any of the specs, we'll actually have to open up some of our bags. This whole time I've been talking about airing up your tires, but you can use it for some other accessories you have on the road. So you're going to have a lot of different types of valves that come with your kit, but the main one you will be using is going to be that one we had earlier for your tires. But you'll have some that you can even plug into some tools if you need to make any adjustments while out on the road. And what's nice is if you are planning on using any of those accessories, you will have plenty of hose to go around. And to show you what I actually mean is we have about 20 feet of hose, and what that looks like next to our 4Runner is we're going to have a little bit of excess on either side, so even if you have those larger or longer trucks, this will still work. Now what's nice about this is it will work in a lot of different climates too. Like I was saying earlier, it's very robust, so even if you're in those extreme weather conditions like extreme cold or extreme heat, this should hold up because we do have some thermal protection in the engine. But kind of talking about the heat and protecting this, it is important that you do monitor it. So it does have a 50% duty cycle. And what that really means is you run it for a little bit and then you're going to have to give it a break after a bit too. So I'd recommend running it at the very most 30 minutes and then just letting it rest for another 30 minutes before you start it up again. And that's something to think about more if you're with a group of people. Like you saw earlier, this is going to air up your tires super quick, so you really shouldn't run into that if you're just by yourself. But if you're with maybe 2 or 3 other vehicles too, then just watch out so you don't run it for too long. In my opinion, I think this is a solid choice, especially if you're someone who does plan on doing a lot of overlanding, or you're just doing some off-roading, you need something pretty sturdy for those case scenarios where you need to air up your tires. The one thing I wish it had was some type of gauge built into the compressor so I can kind of monitor my inflation. Now, like I showed you earlier, you can get that separate tire inflator so you can monitor it and deflate your tires too. In a lot of cases you might already have one, but if you want a matching set, you can go with that too. Now, if you want a sort of compressor that already has one built in, then I would recommend the Bulldog winch. For the reasons I said earlier too, if you're just someone who's not really going off-roading too much and you don't need something quite as fast as this one. As you can see, it's pretty compact, small. The one thing I don't like if you are going off-roading is the casing. So as you can see, it just kind of comes in this more softer bag. So when you're on the road, there's gonna be a lot of vibration. It could damage over time, and it's not really built for those extreme temperatures either. And if you're throwing anything in the back of your vehicle, you could damage this. So you just gotta be a little bit more mindful with this one. So off-roading, this would be my choice with the ARB. But if you want something a little bit faster or twice as faster, like I was saying earlier, you could go with the twin compressor one. To kind of show you what the difference there is of course you're gonna have a larger case because it's gonna have another motor and it's gonna have a tank on it. But it's really not too big. You can actually still store this in your vehicle and not take up too much space. Really, I would say the twin one is perfect for anyone who plans on doing this like full year round. They're doing this quite often and they're going with a group of people. Reason being is, one, it's faster, so if you guys want to get the point A to point B faster, you don't want to spend too much time airing up your tires, of course go with this one. And on top of that, it's going to have a 100% duty cycle. So with that, you can run this thing the entire time without taking any breaks. So with this one, you'll have to take a few breaks, but it's just going to depend on how many people you're going with and how often or how fast you want to get to point A to point B. But that was just a look at the ARB Portable Air Compressor. I'm Matt. Thanks for watching.